Welcome back. We have just started with the semi-finals. We've seen earlier today the preliminaries, the group stages where Khadija and who was the other winner of the group? Khadija and Keegan were the winners of the two groups, and Lance and Justin joined them. And the semi-finals have just started. And of course, welcome to our another special guest we have here. He's helped me with the Paradigm Chess30 before. So welcome to International Master David Gluckman. Welcome, David.
Hi, Calvin. Nice to be here.
Yes, it's great to have you. And let's see. We've got, okay, let's just put that back. We've got these two boards here open up at the same time. We'll focus on one in just a moment. I just want to enlarge both of them so that we can have a good look at both. So just a reminder to the viewers, the handle names over here. We've got Rose Moon is Khadija Latresh, and Lance H9 over there is Lance Van Vogel, and Keegan Chang is Keegan Agallis, and Dynamic Duo is Justin Leach. So this is the semi-finals, and we will see third and fourth place playouts later, and of course the finals. But the semi-finals, as we see it now, this is the first game of two. So we will get to face your opponent with white and black. Okay, so it seems like we have a Sicilian on both boards.
Yeah, indeed. Wow.
Which one are you at, David? Then we shall start with that one.
Okay. Well, I can look at anyone. I'm looking at Rose Moon, Lance H9 at the moment.
Okay, so that's Khadija and Lance. Dragon Bishop to E2 was played. The queens are again kind of stuck there in the corner. So it's like an elephant type of E6 Sicilian, and I guess Dragon Bishop to E2 was played to support the D4 push.
Yeah, very possibly, or maybe even F4, but okay. Yeah. It's still early days.
Yes.
I must say, Calvin, I haven't looked at this for a year now, so I'm now trying to familiarize myself again, and it's obviously,
yes, of course,
very tricky.
No worries, but I'm sure you'll find your foot quite quickly.
So am I right, just to remind me, like the dragon on E2, it doesn't currently defend D4, does it? Because it has to go forward and then diagonal, and there's a knight on E3.
That's correct.
So, but if he moves the knight on E3, then D4 is protected.
Yes, that's under.
Yeah, so those are the things now I have to refamiliarize myself with.
There we go. And I mean, some of the players actually miss some of those tactics in the tournament. So
yeah, it's very easy, especially if you don't play a lot.
Exactly. So something that we all need to get used to still. More of these events happen, the more it will be easy.
So who do you prefer in this position, Calvin? You're probably a little bit, let's say, more familiar at the moment with this than me.
Well, I wouldn't claim myself to be an expert. I would rather say I maybe got a norm in commentating. You can call me a commentating master, but that's as far as it goes. But
my first feeling is I prefer white here because now you've got more space.
Yes.
And I've never been convinced. I remember when I played, whether playing the Sicilian type of thing is a good idea, because now this queen on G1 could hit C5 maybe. I know it's very early days, but I would say I prefer white so far. But
okay. So yeah, I also prefer the space, and we've seen that actually from Khadija. I've mentioned it before. She loves taking the space, and it's very difficult to find your footing if you are with the black pieces and your pieces don't have space. So
yeah, I would imagine. I'm just guessing over here, but her husband, like Mohammed Henry, he would. He's very good at first principle, so he probably explained that first principle to her.
Yes, I can also recall some games where I think Henry also pushed the F pawn a lot to gain space in his games in the previous events.
Yes, so because the thing is, I also think what happens is, even if it's not correct or precise, if you gain space, there's more chance the person with less space will make some error or blunder.
Yes.
If you've got more space and you make an error, it's probably not so critical.
Exactly.
What you do have to watch out for, but if you leave too much space around the king, there could be tactics later on if it becomes a bit airy. But okay, it's a long way to go. Yeah. Should we
Yes,
try the
indeed.
other game?
Yes, let's see. I'm just trying to get the individual boards going. But what's happening in the other board? We've got an advanced pawn on e5, c4 just played, testing the knight on d5. Also seems like white is enjoying some space over here. So
Okay. But yeah, there are a lot more tactics almost immediately
yes.
now. Goodness. But okay, we have white's more space and white's king is quite safe where it is. So yeah, it's difficult to say. But I mean, if white can't do something soon, they could also find that the center collapses. So I'm not sure. Yeah.
Yes, I will be fully with you in just a moment. I just need these guys' faces to be in on the
Because
individual.
now there's already pressure on d4, and if you move from black, so and you can't play d5 yet, I think. So you might have to take on c5. But okay, long way to go.
Let's see. Just need to do one more thing, and then I'm playing very soon. That.
That's post of him on the magazine, I remember now.
Okay, and I think we can finally go into zooming into each board.
Which one are you on?
Just a second. Okay, so let's go to, let's call it board one, which is Rosemoon versus Lance. Let's just flip these two around properly in place. Okay. So we've got Karija versus Lance. We're zooming in on this board. And e5 just played f6 square. Oof.
Yeah, no, this does not look good for black now, I would
Does
say.
not look good, yeah. Nobody's defending those dark squares.
Because if the king gets to be forced to move, then with dragons, it could be havoc later. Well,
Yes.
and already you've seen what I said earlier, the queen's threatening the pawn on c5, eh?
Queen's, yes.
Uh,
I think this is real trouble. I don't know.
Okay, but I guess, okay, white still has to get the dragon on b1 into the game.
What does black play immediately? Does he just protect c5, maybe b6? Or pawn to d6? Maybe d6 trying to undermine the e5 square.
Yeah, I don't know if I would like that knight landing on f6.
Yeah.
So to me, a pawn is not a big issue necessarily. So maybe don't worry about the queen taking c5. I mean, you can always go dragon a7 maybe and start counter-attacking. So probably
knight g8.
I would say I'm more worried about f6, and I'm not sure what can be done about it. Do you really want to not land in there? It doesn't look good to me.
The only thing I see is knight to g8. Maybe knight g8, play h5, put your knight back on e7.
Yeah, you might be able to get away with that. It looks not great though, but
and Bungie is also giving some options here. Bungie says if castle, then knight f6 check, king h8, then knight g8. Where does? Oh, so he suggesting.
Yeah, that's a possibility. That is a possibility. Just castles. I think that probably is the best option, probably.
And then afterwards, you put your knight in g8. Okay.
Yeah, that's probably the best option.
Okay, so yeah, Lance has some soul searching to do over there. With he's already 2 minutes down on the clock. Let's just check the other board. We've got Keegan with the white pieces versus Justin, the black pieces. I think these two boys have been playing each other for a long time on the normal chessboard. I think they were also at
long time.
And yeah, we find them playing against each other on our Fire and Ice Battle Royale tournament. And let's see what these guys can produce. White is enjoying a lot of space. Are we gonna see? Okay, h4 is not possible, right? Not yet. Dragon Bishop to c3, Keegan just completing the development. And are we gonna see d6, f6? How does black get something out of this? Maybe
Yeah, that is
f6.
black's problem. We're a little bit cramped now.
Yes.
Um,
No, but you can't go f6 and take on f6 since that c5 pawn needs to be defended as well.
yeah, you see, this case you wouldn't, I mean, as different to the other one, I don't think you would not take c5 because you don't have any, I mean, it can't take it anymore, the dragon's protecting, but in the other game, if the queen takes c5, there's a lot of counterplay. Yeah, there wouldn't be much counterplay if you let that drop.
Yes. And this game seems to be slightly slower, so no need to be sacrificing something unnecessarily. But I mean, what else do we do here for black? We have to play d6 or f6 at some point. Justin goes for d5 straight away. Man, that...
Okay, but now you'll take, so now that pawn on c5 will be weak. I mean, I would be tempted to really think if I had this position, I'm not saying it's so easy to start thinking of swapping off the dragons from white side and kind of just winning the end game.
Grind out on those weaknesses on the queen side. Kind of reminds me of a game, Korchnoi versus Karpov in some world championships.
Yeah. Look, obviously black won't allow that, so I'm not saying it's easy to do, but
that is already an option.
You already got to ask. I mean, to me, it would favor white to swap off. Yeah.
Okay. Let me just switch over to the dual view where we have both boards, so we can just pick and choose basically. But things are going slowly, and in fact, black with the Lance and Khadija game, Lance did castle. And Khadija kind of refrained from playing knight f6 check.
Yeah, maybe it does nothing yet.
Just, holding on to that idea, keeping the knight flexible, dragon to d2, and are we gonna see a possible h4, h5, or?
Yeah, that would be natural, I guess, but yeah, maybe trying to put a knight or dragon on e4 is another possibility. But yeah, I mean, h4, h5 would seem a reasonable idea. And maybe, I mean, if black ever plays h5, then the knight f6, and then you might even have to think about just knight takes h5, takes back, dragon takes h5, and lots of tactics already.
Just a question.
I don't know if it sounds, it's just something to think about. But what I'm worried about Lance here is he's 4.5 minutes behind on time, which is he's going to get into big trouble later if he doesn't stop that.
And he goes h5 immediately, so already just asking the knight to show its hand, basically.
Yeah, I don't think he should have done that, to be honest, because now white's hasn't made a weakness with h4 and has got the h4 square in addition, whereas if white did h4 first, you could always have played h5 at that stage.
Yeah, so
I don't think it was a good move, I must say, but sure. I mean, there might even be possibilities like just playing g4 here even. Okay, and he does it.
Okay, things are moving at a fast pace here.
Yeah. But I mean, you can just go knight takes d5, takes on h5. If he takes back, you swap the queens. Your dragon takes on h5, and it's big problems for black. So maybe you can't take back on h5. That seems the simplest. Just take knight takes d5, has to take back, takes on h5. Well, I don't think you can take back, but then you're already been, yeah, it's problems. I can't, I think this is big problems.
Yes.
Let's see if he wants takes back. I don't think he should take back, but with the queen's gone and the dragon on h5 and the rook coming to g1, it just looks much too dangerous to me.
Look to g1 eventually, yeah.
Look, it's terrible as it is, but
yeah, the king on h7.
Maybe you must play something like dragon e7 and start to come to f5 and look for counterplay.
And the nice thing about, yeah, I mean, white just has everything. White didn't even castle, so you can always keep that flexibility. So, yeah, I don't think this one is going to last too long unless Lance comes up with something. But let's switch over to the other game.
Okay.
In fact, other game is already done. What
Wow,
happened here?
that's what happens in if you
Wow.
close your eyes for a moment.
Wow.
What happened over here?
Let's
What is
quickly,
the tactic?
let's check. We can actually rewind here for the viewers. And so we were last at dragon takes d6.
The d5
E takes.
Bishop dragon takes.
Queen c1.
What did what do? Queen c1.
e5.
It
Takes.
still doesn't look too bad, but okay, now some counterplay.
So white dropped the what happened here? No, black. Well, white just blundered a piece. Maybe white missed that dragon move. He missed the dragon on c6 or something.
I think so. White's just blundered a piece. Or maybe my other slight theory over here is maybe like white assumed that the dragon on e2 is like a queen defending on e5 as well.
Yeah, no,
I wouldn't, because it's like that would be a more natural placement in chess.
Yes, that
is. I wouldn't be completely surprised. It sounds crazy.
Okay, so that's a sad one for
this is just a straight piece.
Keegan.
And
Yes.
okay, once you swap off, and now you just a piece down in the end game.
Yeah. Okay. So we see a dragon blunder, dragon tactic blunder. So now, yes, Boomshaka also saw something. Oh, she saw c5 hanging. No, I don't know where c5 was hanging, but okay, pieces dropped. And okay, let's focus then on the Khadija versus Lance game. Justin getting a nice start over there with the black pieces, so he's in control in that matchup.
Yeah.
So let's check out Khadija and Lance. And
So
okay, what is going on? Yeah.
Okay, play g5.
Okay, Lance played d6. So what does white do here?
G4. Okay, at least Lance has done a few good things since we last saw. I mean, he's moved quicker, so it's not 4.5 minutes. It's more like 2 and a bit minutes difference.
Yep.
And starting to get some play, starting to get those dragons. And I think quite correctly didn't take back on h5.
Yes. So white needs to just take some few breaths here just to find a good. Surely white should still be doing quite fine here.
I'm sure white is doing quite fine there. Yeah, that's the question, how to proceed.
I mean, sometimes you can even throw in a pawn to h6 if you really want to. Or are things just collapsing here? You know, things can swing around so quickly. I can't believe that it
but maybe even a move like h4 would be an idea, yeah, maybe as well.
h4 just forcing the issue. But isn't black just threatening pawn takes f4 and want to exchange? I mean, okay, maybe I'm underestimating the dragon bishops here. Even if you trade queens with such an open king, black should still be in trouble.
Yeah, but okay, at least let's say the white h5 pawn shields the black king in a way a bit. So
And Khadija just offers the trade of queens. Queen takes pawn.
Well, I think black must just trade and take on e5. At least what black's got the center and some counterplay.
Exactly. And I mean, those pawns, like you said, those 2 pawns, are they actually not in the way here for white? Black king.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. I don't think white should have done this. I don't know if I like queen takes g5.
Yeah, there will maybe something else there. Like you said, h4. Or maybe if you just kept attention to long castle or knight g3 or something.
Yeah, or try to get the knight in. One idea I was thinking of h4 is to play knight, because you can't go knight e3 because it stops the dragon on e2 defending d4. But that's why I was thinking h4 as well, because the knight can then come to h2 potentially.
Yes. Which
might be a good way to have come as well to g4, or if g4, then you just take on g4. So but now this, even if you take on c5, I mean, black's got 2 nice pawns in the center.
Yep.
The king's a bit shielded by these white pawns on g5 and h5. But look, I still think white is better.
White should be better, yes.
Still, because white maybe can just play a move like g6 and try to open up over there.
Yeah.
Maybe not immediately, but
what does black do now? Should black try continue with development, or like dragon f5 or something, or go for e4 and knight e5, something like that?
I think first develop. I would say you've got to bring your dragons in, maybe. I mean, if you get a dragon to d7, you're already starting to threaten take on c5.
Yep.
If b4 is played, then your king's not as safe if you castle queenside. So I don't know. I'm not sure about dragon f5, because then when the knight hops to e3 or g3, you hit. So maybe to e6.
Dragon e6, threatening c5.
And then dragon d7, and that,
Yeah, on e6.
Also then defending d5.
Yeah.
I think I'll do. I think I like that one. Does it as well.
For the dragon bishop, at least hits c5 in the meantime. b4 played very quickly.
Yeah, but the king won't be as safe as it would have been then.
So what now?
I mean, another option is even to play maybe e4 and dragon e5 straight away.
Dragon c7 played. I don't know. What's the dragon doing on c7? Aren't the 2 dragon
bishops it's helping bring the rooks in, but I think it's slower than you should have. I think, I'm not analyzing, but I think I liked e4 and dragon e5 straight away.
I like that.
Counterplay.
I like that idea. So what is Khadija's plan over here? She's got a couple of extra pawns, or 1 extra pawn. No, she's got 2 extra pawns, but where do you put your
pawns
king?
are not worth that much. And if the dragons get swapped off, it's a different story. But with dragons on
knight g3,
pawns are not a big issue.
She can she maybe even short cast? No, she doesn't want short cast. She needs a rook on f1 though, so the knight can get in. If the knight can reach f5, that would be great for white.
I mean, I would even think maybe black. Okay, maybe it's a bit too risky. I was thinking of maybe playing f5, but maybe it is a bit too risky, a line that g and h pawn just running.
Yeah.
But
looking at comparing it to what Lance had at the beginning when we saw pawn on
definitely got counterplay.
Dream situation for him. He's actually in the game.
Yeah, in the game. Yeah.
And Lance
is on 4 minutes. It's not completely crazy, this f5. I mean, if g6, f4, h6.
I mean, that's maybe some type of psychological blow that you need to hand over to white.
Yeah. It actually, especially with the time difference, it might be something that's like unsettles white. Yeah. It's probably, I would say, not sound, but I think I would be tempted to think about that for practical purposes.
Okay, but besides f5, I think e4 is still there. In fact, he plays e4.
Yeah. Similar plan, but just lost a move. But that's not a train smash. In some ways, I think black's position is easier to play than white's now.
Yes, because that's what I was contemplating. Why doesn't have a direct plan here? And black has these squares f3, d3 at his disposal.
I mean, you can try c4 as a possibility to undermine e4.
Uh-huh.
Double-edged though.
C4 can also open up that diagonal towards the black king.
Yes, now that's what I was considering as well. It's a possibility.
Welcome to Fi Sanchuri. Apologies for the pronunciation. We are looking at this tournament. We're watching Fire and Ice Battle Royale. So no live games being played at the moment from commentator side. We are just watching this event being played out. It's Paradigm Chess30, guys. We are watching the semi-finals. It's the first game of 2, and this is the one match. The other match, the other semi-final was played between Keegan Gullis and Justin Lynch. So yeah, dragon to e3.
I would have maybe gone dragon to d4, pinning that knight.
Yeah, what is the purpose of putting the dragon on e3? Is she just covering g4?
Well, maybe she's thinking the same, but she wants to cover d3, but d3 is not covered anyway, because you wouldn't want to give a dragon up for a knight.
Yes.
So I think the dragon to d4 is a better bet, and then maybe white should be thinking again of swapping dragons if you can, as a reasonable plan. It's actually it's definitely in my mind easier to play black than white.
Definitely. So okay, how does black proceed? Does he jump in immediately? Does he improve a rook? He jumps in, knight d3.
I think you jump in because you make white commit on the king, and yeah, I'll probably king d2, but you know, you never know later on. If you have the king's got some air around it, there can be tactics later on.
You have a5 sometimes as well, just to introduce the rook.
Yeah, well, that is always a3, I guess. It's not, but I mean, the other one you got is b6. Maybe in some positions, not quite now, but and the other one, no, you haven't got.
Okay, but I can see from Khadija's point of view, she had this knight f5 idea with the rook on f1 as well. That's what she's trying to get in. White needs a couple more moves to consolidate. Knight f5, dragon d4.
I think dragon d4, try swap of dragons, because look, in the end, if black doesn't do something, the extra pawns will win it. So
yes. Dragon to e5.
Okay, so dragon to d4 must be a certainty. I would say, and swap off.
Bungie suggests rook to f6.
Also a possibility.
So threatening the dragon on e6, and sometimes you can actually tickle the king on h8 with rook h6 check.
Yes,
That's another possibility.
Good move as well.
So dragon bishop to e5 played. Black is.
But the reason I like dragon to d4 is, I mean, what's the pawn situation? Two pawns up. Is that right? Yeah, so the end game is going to be a win. So if you just swap off those dragons and play simple chess when your opponent's got 2 minutes, is a practical choice, I would say.
I agree. I think that's the.
But f6, rook f6 obviously is
rook f6
not a bad move.
I would prefer your suggestion as well.
This might be the better move. I think mine might be the more practical one. But I think a computer might well say this is by far the better move. I wouldn't be surprised. Because I know if you win the exchange, the rook for the dragon, that's a big win for the one who's got the extra dragon.
Yes.
Not like normal chess where you exchange up.
Yes. So, I mean, what does black do here? So somehow it feels like black also slipped up here.
Yeah, I'm not sure how. Look, maybe yeah.
Because what do you do? You
look, this rook f1, rook f6 was a good plan, I would say.
Yeah.
Maybe you should have checked on, I don't know if it was possible, I can't remember, checked on f3 instead of d3.
Yes, that's why I was thinking, jumping in with a knight, I thought you should maybe keep it flexible, give yourself some options. Knight to
f3 also would close the f file effectively and also threaten taking on g5 maybe.
So knight c4 is in the air. But surely white will just capture on e6 first. Takes.
Yeah. I wonder if it was better to chuck in a check on h6 first. Is there any advantage of the king
I
being
wonder.
on G8 or G7? You know,
Yeah.
it might be it might be better placed the king on h8, but at the limelight and the line rook G8. So
Yep.
I'm not sure about it, but that's very intricate. I guess you don't have to be intricate when there's only 1 minute to go.
Yeah. 1 minute. Okay, dragon d4. Finally, Khadija goes for the simplification over there. No knight c4. No fork on c4 this time. So it takes on d4 with check. King is very awkwardly placed now. And the knight, I mean, on b2 is a lonesome ranger here. King g8. Probably something like, okay, those pawns can just march some in g6, h6.
Yeah, maybe h6 and knight h5 is another one. But
yeah.
okay, king can go to h7, I guess. But
I think white's got this one in the bag, yeah.
I think it's, yeah, maybe just g6. Okay, maybe it looks. I mean, the knight's going to.
Okay, she goes rook f1. She's trying to simplify a bit more. Check. Just king e2.
Probably okay, rook f1, but I don't think it was necessary.
Yeah, I don't think it was necessary. It's because black had no counterplay.
Yeah, and also now black.
Okay. e5. So at least cutting out the dragon bishop for the moment.
No, but you can't go to e6. That's what confused me. Dragon e6 check would be killing, but you can do it.
So Lance finding some small resource, at least just trying to stay in the game as long as he can.
Yeah, but practically the dragon is just too strong. I think just take on f1 with the knight and go knight e3 probably.
Yeah.
And the center will collapse soon with the dragon coming in. Yeah, and unfortunately, well, yeah. And if ever a5, I guess you just play b5. If black plays a5, you just don't open up files for the rook.
Yes.
It must be one. The 2-minute advantage as well. The problem is that knight has got no squares really. It's got a3 really.
Oh no. Yeah.
Let's go in the wrong direction.
If only black had 2 moves, maybe rook f8 and rook f3, but okay. So Lance is trying to get d4 going.
Ah, nice move. I like this one.
Dragon e6, huge threat.
Yeah, I like that one. Yeah, with no time, it's almost impossible to defend those tactics, especially you're not familiar with the tactics.
Yes.
You know, you have to take 10 seconds to think about them. Yeah, no, this is finished.
Yeah, the dragon bishop displaying its power over there. Nasty fork. Being threatened.
Oh, it's just so strong. I mean, not that black can play d4 anyway, but if you did, then dragon e6 also threatens the knight.
How about g6 check?
Okay, yeah, just g6 check surely. It's going to
g6
get you sooner or
later. The king has to go to
g7. F6.
Oh, f6, g6, king f6.
King f6. You may not want to allow that.
You can go g7. You can go g7. Still, that fork is in the air if you capture. Just keep on marching. Like you said, the c4 knight is not in the defense. Can't get back with his knight.
I guess you just go knight e3. Yeah, takes d4 takes takes d4, king takes e4 d3, dragon g4 check, and you'll gather that pawn and you'll just be winning the pawn game.
So we have knight e3 as an option. We have g7 also still looks interesting for me, followed up by h6 and h7.
G7, okay, yeah, that's yeah. I never forget those tactics, yeah.
G7 is also interesting with h6 as an idea to follow up. I mean, but black is probably threatening d4, so you don't want to allow that, right? So
I think knight e3 is just simple.
Yeah.
It's just simple because as
Agreed.
long as you can block that d4 pawn, which will be
Yes.
easy, because you got dragon g4 check and you can come back always. The pawn in game will just be one. I mean, you'll gather up that pawn if black swaps the rook for the dragon, you win the pawn in game. So
Yes.
There's no need to be fancy.
And Lance waiting anxiously here. He's down to 42 seconds. Khadija just making sure of things over here. Dragon g4 check instead.
Can't be bad either. That's okay.
Uh-huh.
That's probably good. Oh yeah, you can't go to g7 or g5 because dragon goes to e6, so you got to go to e7. I guess.
e7 and those pawns can run again. I mean, you can still play knight e3.
No, it's finished.
That's the type of moves that in fact, I mean, this is just a way better version of it.
Yes.
This dragon tactics.
I mean, the dragon, it's just an unbelievable piece. It just gives you so many options. Okay.
King e7 played. Knight e3, or do we start running the pawns? Knight e3. g7, okay. Are we going to see d4? King f7 played? Probably just h6.
Okay, but you can't take on g7 anyway.
You can't take on, yeah, you're right.
But
so she's threatening h7 now.
She's playing nice and directly, so there's no issue.
Just take on d4, play h7 afterwards.
Yeah, I just think practically, I mean, look, it's dead one, but practically, if you play knight e3 and force exchange of the knights, all the knights got to go to the side of the board. It's just, I think it's simpler. But I mean, this, it's difficult to complain when this is obviously winning as well. In fact, I'm pretty sure white will be able to set up a mate in net.
King f7. Dragon bishop is there. Oh, I mean, it's a fork already. She's got it.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that's easy.
Nice dragon. I mean, Khadija showing a dragon bishop.
But I actually think you could have kept the I would have been tempted to keep the dragon on h5 and just go like knight g3, knight f5, dragon g6 and h7 mate. Even if black got a queen in the interim, but obviously this is fun.
All right, there. That's the end of it for now. That's the first match. Okay, guys, we are back and we've got both games started. It's the second game of the semi-finals match. So let's have a look. See, let's start with Justin and Keegan. So it's dynamic duo versus Keegan Chang. Simply because we missed that quick tactics there in the previous game. The game ended quite quickly with Justin picking up a crucial victory with the black pieces. So Justin has white in this match, in this game, and Keegan is in a must-win situation, and he's got an early h5 on the board with queen h7. So
I must say, I'm I might be wrong, but I don't know if I like bringing out the queen too early, because you can get chased around a bit by the dragon, especially. Maybe it's fun.
But okay, the queen is not that exposed on h7, but you never know.
No, not at the moment. So I agree with that. So yeah, that's an interesting idea.
And
obviously, White still has to think about his queen.
Yes, maybe queen
Actually, with the
G1,
queen on
queen F1.
G1, I mean, a lot of players like to play F4
Yes.
or F3 at the least. F4 maybe just to, yeah.
But okay, White's gonna play queen F1 now, perhaps, or long castle. D4 is surely on the card somewhere.
Yeah, it takes a while to get that queen in, but probably long castle. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. If we glance at the other game quickly, we have Lance with the white pieces against Khadija. Lance, of course, is in the must-win situation here. Khadija having won the previous game in quite a nice fashion, using a dragon bishop at the end very effectively.
Okay.
And Khadija uses a signature structure. I think that's her favorite structure over there with F6 and C6.
Really?
Building up the big.
But they very much
center.
done the F6, bring the queen not into the game, but can come in later.
Yes.
Okay, interesting structure. Again, yeah, showing that she likes to get space earlier, which I would not be surprised if that's yeah, it comes from the husband, and he understands. He's very strong at natural, first principles. And space is he's very familiar with. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's something that he would have mentioned to her.
Yes.
They probably played quite a bit as well. Yeah. Okay, but this is very early days.
Okay, so I mean, Lance has got the 2 knights out, and he has to deal with this, these pawns coming at him. So, what does he do though? How is the? I don't understand the knight on D3. Looks a bit awkward, right?
Yeah.
Is he gonna play
I
C3
actually
now?
kind of prefer black already. I must, because these knights are getting a bit in the way.
Yeah, I think so.
And black has got that space already.
Maybe.
I think if you whiten the structure, maybe it actually makes a lot of sense to play F4 rather than F3. I mean, black, I understand F6 more because the white pawn's already on E4.
Yeah.
And
the Lance is already consuming a bit of time now, trying to figure things out. So, and
yeah.
In the
okay, now that's okay. I guess it does bring the dragon in that diagonal, but does look a little bit like mixing systems. But okay, it stops D4 maybe.
And maybe that, you see, that's knight that went to D3 should have went to E2 instead, I think. Or B3.
Yeah, it started on C1. Yeah, it doesn't look right on D3. It looks a bit in the way. It could have gone to B3, could have gone to E2. It could have stayed on C1 and just kept flexibility, to be honest.
Yeah.
It doesn't look right against the structure with F6, E5. That's okay. I don't think it's, anything too serious. This is very early days. Okay, and already pressure on the E4 pawn.
So let's see, is knight F2 gonna come? Okay, then you.
Yeah, but if knight F2 comes to me, that's an admission that knight D3 wasn't right. This is a much better move.
Knight F5, okay.
Yeah, because you don't want to stop a dragon for a knight, so you gain in space. That's
still not so clear what to do.
Yeah, not so clear. I mean, you could maybe just put the knight to C5, gain a bit more space. If he plays B6, there's some weaknesses.
I was thinking about that, yes.
Maybe. But it's not too serious as weaknesses either.
In the meantime, Keegan has just played the pawn to A5 after White has.
We better watch that other game because it went so quickly last time, so we don't want to miss it again.
And Keegan trying to stir up something on the queen side already.
Okay, both pawns. This is very modern chess.
Yes.
very much like Alpha Zero influence, but I think not bad at this at this type of chess.
Yes.
I mean, if you can create weaknesses near the king with the dragons, it will create havoc later. So actually, I like this. Now that white is castled, I like this A5 idea.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it's actually very difficult to stop the pawn going. I guess you can put the pawn to A3, and when it goes to A4, then you stop it there. So you just move. You'd have to move the knight to C5.
So yeah, okay, I've got the individual board showing finally, and A5, A4 plate. Okay.
Now, A4 I don't like so much.
E4
Maybe I'm
square.
wrong, but it looks a bit more weakening to me. Now it looks easier for me for black to get through to something. There are more targets than if it was pawns on black A4, white A3, I think.
Okay, but now concretely, how does black continue here? How does he get his bishops involved? Knight on D6 also seems a bit awkward to me. I mean, his only good destination is C4, but will he ever reach C4?
Well, you could put a dragon straight to E6 right now if you want.
Well, not really. The dragon bishop F8 stuck. Can't go to E6.
Oh, you can't. I get confused. Both of them are stuck. Yeah,
ideally,
right.
ideally, yeah, you'd like a dragon bishop on C4, on E6.
It's not so fantastic either, but that's
you have D3
okay.
also. So what do we do here? What does black do with his king though? Is he gonna keep it in the center? Is he gonna castle with the pawn on H5? Is he gonna go long castle? He has the same weaknesses then.
Yeah, it's got issues. Yeah. I think for now, probably keep it in the center, I guess. But how do you? I think the issue is how do you get these dragons into the game?
Yes. I don't know. The more I look at it, the more I kind of prefer Justin's position here, because his queen can easily just join via F1, and
that's true.
He's fully developed. On the other hand, black needs to still figure out how to develop.
Yeah, and F5 just looks too risky, eh?
I was glancing at it, yes, but it looks a bit risky.
It looks risky, but I mean, it does allow the two dragons to get into the game.
Yes, F6 dragon.
Might
F6.
be a possibility, but
so maybe you just have to play F6 dragon bishop to E6, other dragon bishop to E7. Keep your king flexible, being able to castle both ways, and see where it goes. See what white does. But surely white, if white wants to inject some fuel, white has D4 on the cards there. If he wants to inject something immediately, he has the D5 square as well for his knight. This does look kind of nice. Black doesn't have the luxury of the D4 square at the moment. So comparing that B3 knight to the D6 knight, I like the B3 knight better. At least from a defensive point of view. And dragon to E7 played. What about... okay. So knight D5. No. You can't even play dragon G5. Because C7 is also hanging. If you trade everything on G5.
okay.
Yeah, so dragon D5. I think Keegan must have missed the C7 that is hanging. Because maybe he was intending dragon to G5. But white just trades everything.
Nice kind of... forced to go back, you could say. Eh? Can't allow just a knight for dragon.
Yeah.
So
he has to go dragon.
Oh,
wow. Yeah, he has to go back. Unless, no, he doesn't even have dragon bishop H4. He's nothing. He has to go back.
Yeah. I think maybe, look, F5 looked very, very risky, but
maybe the best practical chance.
Maybe it was the best strategy to confuse things, because at least then your two dragons could get into the game very quickly on F7 and now you're really wasting time.
Yes, so, okay. I think Keegan's going to have to come up with something. They either drop back and lose time or do something very risky.
It strikes me that Keegan's not as familiar with this as others.
Perhaps. Perhaps that is the case. Okay, both of them are newcomers.
Whenever you play the first time, it's difficult.
Both of them are newcomers, but it seems like Justin has adapted a bit faster here. And if we come back to the Lance and Khadija game, we have the two knights on e6 and d6. So the knight did go to c5, by the way. So.
But you might have to watch as white to move. Okay.
White to move, yes. Yeah, might have to watch. I mean, takes on c5 is already a threat. Some discovered on the queen.
Yeah. That's what I was looking at. But no, it's white to move.
But black seems very well developed here. I mean, what do you do? Do you move back with your knight? If you trade, then drag him to e6. Black seems really solid. Solidly.
Yeah, no, look, black's development is better.
Yeah.
Black's development is better. And to me, this just reinforces this thing. Getting space is an advantage of here. Yeah. So I like the way Khadija played the opening.
The dragon
which
takes
one do you
e6,
take back with?
takes which one? And then white just needs to get.
Well, there are two dragons, aren't there? I mean, to me, I would naturally think you just take on it with the f8 one and develop it. That's the one not developed. But
okay, she does it eventually. Just making sure from her side. Nothing wrong with that. And,
nothing wrong with that.
Okay, let's get back to the dual view over here, just to check both sides. And okay, things have been happening here with the Justin and Keegan game. Seems like Justin is in control.
No, but this is just terrible. He not before taking on e5. Surely that can't be any good.
Yeah, no, this seems really bad for black, and Keegan just trying to hold on here.
I mean, maybe just f4, start getting space. I don't know.
f4 looks good.
Knight's coming to d4, c5. It's like, oh, it looks horrific actually. This.
Yeah.
The queen is almost trapped.
Oof.
If you go f4, I mean, knight d4, knight.
Dragon bishop to f4 played, and is the queen not already trapped now?
Can go to g4. Oh, it can't go to g4. It's trapped, huh?
Seems like black is gonna have to give up a queen for a dragon bishop.
Yeah. Look, that is not as terrible as it sounds as in all chess, because the dragon's probably worth 6 and a queen's probably worth. I think a queen is less strong in all chess. It's probably like 8 instead of 9.
Yeah.
So it's not the end of the world.
It depends on the dragon bishop. The dragon bishop, I feel like, could be worth more than 6 in some positions, 6.5. You saw how effective that dragon
maybe
bishop
possibly.
was.
Yeah. So it's not so bad. It's not so bad. I think you've got to now decide how to lose the queen is really the question.
Bungie says pawn to f5. Just going with the flow over there. What else? I mean, your dragon bishops need some space. So if pawn to f5, it actually stops. Dragon takes e6.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Nice one, Bungie.
Very good.
If ef, then it says queen takes knight. There we see some defensive resources.
But I doubt you can say, okay, that's true.
Okay, it doesn't seem like a full, a long-term
no, I doubt it,
fix, but I mean, at least you're not dropping the queen immediately.
It's true. But it looks terrible. Knight d4, take on f. The queen goes to g8, takes on f5. It just looks, the e file's open. I think it, well, okay, you can't quite do that because you can. Maybe take on, But okay, you can save the queen that way. The other way you can save the queen, which I don't think it doesn't work, but I'm just trying to think of the tactics. If you went, if you went dragon to g5, dragon takes pinning the dragon on f4, dragon takes g5, dragon takes e5, and you're back in the game. But the problem is knight takes c7 first to fork in the king and queen. But it just shows there are like resources that that you don't get in normal chess.
Yep. Okay, but Keegan just gave up his queen there. He didn't realize he's got some resource over there. I mean, we were struggling before. We didn't even find that. Bungie pointed it out. So,
Yes.
pawn to b5 played, and Keegan desperately is just looking to open up lines. Maybe pawn to a5.
Yeah,
Yep.
but like there the line closes. This is over.
This
This
is
is
over, yeah.
basically resignable.
Yeah.
I would say.
So,
Okay.
Khadija, in
But
the
in
meantime,
fact, I mean, I wouldn't say you should resign, but
Okay.
F4 is
course.
coming here.
Khadija, in the meantime,
Yeah.
has been taking more space. She actually pushed f5 eventually. And we just see dragon bishops now, queen and rook. So all the knights off the board, basically.
It's still very
So
complicated.
just an update on the score. Khadija won her first game against Lance. And Justin beat Keegan in their first game. So Khadija is basically okay. Lance is in a must-win situation, as is Keegan. Not looking good for Keegan though. So
Yeah.
that's just the tournament situation.
Lance had caught up a bit on time, but now he's fallen way behind again.
Yes.
And to be honest, I don't think he should be, because this is not an absolutely complicated position.
Yeah, he should keep on moving now.
You got to keep on moving. That's, I mean, the one thing for sure, you will lose if you
Yeah.
way behind on time. So you can't do that. Accuracy is not as important.
Yes.
Obviously, you don't want to blunder, but you don't have to be absolutely precise.
Okay. So yeah, just Justin needs to just figure out how to do things neatly. In the meantime, Lance's long castle here,
Yeah.
and Khadija, which way is she going? Long castle, short castle. What would you do?
But you know, if I were her, I would start thinking of swapping off those dragon bishops already and just getting a draw. You only need a draw. If you swap off the dragon bishops, this is very difficult for white to win this. And it's, once the knights are gone, it's actually difficult to stop those swaps offs.
Yes.
Because the dragons counteract each other very well. When knights are there, there's a bit of an imbalance that your dragons gets forced back the whole time by the knights.
Yep. So it does simplify things to a certain degree.
Yeah. I mean, doesn't this just drop d4?
Takes. No, the queen and the dragon bishop is covering.
Okay.
Long castle.
The black's actually got a very comfortable position. Yeah, very comfortable.
Yes.
Because also, what's going to happen is it's going to take on d4, put a rook on e8, and now you're going to be threatening rook takes the dragon already.
What can white do? It's not even an exchange sacrifice. You can't take on e5. I don't think it's worth a pawn for dragon bishop for queen. So
maybe just like do slowly move your king to a1 just to get it out the way. Maybe the rook can get to c1 later. I don't know, but I don't think there's a great deal of point doing a whole lot of calculation. You're not going to be able to calculate anything. Okay, that's another way. That is another way.
g4.
A bit more risky, but maybe called for.
Maybe it needs to add something into it.
Yeah.
Okay, coming back to the game here with Justin and Keegan. Somehow, am I counting correctly? Yeah. Somehow the material is close to level. Like Justin is one pawn up.
Yeah.
What happened? Wasn't Justin?
Wow, what happened?
So there's still something here for Keegan to play all of a sudden.
Oh, allowed dragon g5 winning the queen. Pinning the queen on the king.
Let's check. Let's just rewind that one and see what happened here.
Yeah,
Oh, I see. F5 was a mistake with dragon G5. Oh, wow.
yeah.
Okay, so a blunder by Justin. Justin slipping up here, close to. He was so close to actually getting into the finals already. And now there's still. You don't want this from his point of view, because now it's another psychological battle again. But wait a minute,
Yeah.
D7 just dropped, right? And yeah, you just don't want to give your opponent any hope. And
Yeah.
at least there's
Look,
something.
White is, in my mind, clearly winning anyway, but
Dragon C6, I guess.
yeah, that looks a good one.
Yeah, it's not like there's too much happening. Thought Keegan might have still something to play with here.
But okay, yeah.
Maybe dragon E7.
I mean, we were talking about resigning, so obviously this just shows that you don't resign in this form of chess.
Yes.
There's just
As long as there's
so
a
many
dragon
things
bishop
that
left.
can happen. As long as a dragon, you can definitely fool a normal chess player. You've got hope.
So yeah, I know black needs to just try something. Maybe dragon to E7, just knock the dragon bishop on C6. You see dragon D5 and okay, but he's not threatening the E7 bishop. Okay, so maybe you can play dragon E7 here for black.
Dragon E7.
Okay, but you're kind of pinning your own knight, because after knight was now, yeah, dragon E, bishop E7, knight D4, and feel like white is comfortable. I don't know. Seems like Keegan has a lot to do in this position. And if we check out Lance versus Khadija. Khadija put a rook on E8. Okay, I guess that's the correct rook to use, right? So
I think Khadija, I think should have. I think maybe she should have taken on D4 first, before that G4, because then she could have put a dragon back to D6, which would be a much better square. E5 pawn forced her to go back to D7.
Seems like yes, it would have been.
Okay, I still think she should be fine. And hang on a moment. Isn't rook takes E5 going to be very strong here, threatening two dragons?
Yes, rook takes E5. You take on B6, and dragon takes B6, and the queen is hanging.
Between the queen and the dragon, you're going to you'll be exchanged down in the endgame with the dragon.
You can go dragon to D4 to that though. White can go dragon D4, blocking both, stopping both threats. Okay, but this
is another way. This is another way.
This is way better, yeah. Rook takes
Even
E5.
better.
Queen takes A7 doesn't seem like much, right? Yeah, there's nothing
there. You're going to just take the dragon on E2, especially when when you only need to draw is good enough. So even if there's a perpetual, which I'm sure there's not, but it's not a problem. Rook takes E5 is virtually winning, I would say.
Yeah, maybe just double checking things here. Critical.
I'm sure she knows. I'm sure she knows. Yeah. I don't doubt it.
So yeah, looks like Khadija is inching closer to the finals. And in the meantime, she goes rook takes E5. And we're gonna see.
I've got a dogfight going on here. Sorry.
I thought there was a dragons on the board here. So basically, we're gonna see a dragon versus rook type of position here.
Yeah, but I mean, I've had a couple of these. The dragon's way, at the very best, you might be able to draw, but that's no good.
So we'll see how long that game lasts. Of course, Lance is still gonna put up a fight.
And he's also got 3 months less time, so Lance in very big trouble, I would say.
And then Justin and Keegan. Keegan's dragon bishop lurking around, trying to confuse white, but doesn't seem like much happening over there.
Yeah, but it's not threatening much, because it didn't take the rook and won't take the next rook either. But okay, maybe coming to E5, I guess.
Banji was mentioning a rook to A6 early on, just to tickle that dragon bishop a bit. But okay.
Possibility.
Maybe you go rook a6, dragon d5, and pawn to c6. Where does the dragon bishop go? Back to b6 or something? You can take it then. Where does the dragon be? Oh, you can go to f4 perhaps.
Go to f4 in that position, yeah. I think h3 is the way I agree with that.
H3.
Dragon could go to e5, I guess.
I want to go dragon, yes, to e5. Then we're already threatening the dragon bishop on c6.
But maybe you just go then dragon to d4, because the white's surely not worried about swapping off.
And then the a pawn
And-
drops.
No, but the a pawn doesn't drop because you'll get a knight fork on
c6.
c6.
Aha, okay. So that's it basically.
Uh,
I like that.
yeah, that just looks the simplest. I
Um,
mean, yeah, I would definitely. Maybe I'm saying it all the time. I must be getting old. A lot of these things, I'm thinking, for one side, it just swap the dragons and it becomes easy.
yeah, of course.
The
No, of course.
other tactic here is if you take on if you play dragon e5, dragon d4, you take on d4, knight takes d4, and you're thinking knight will maybe take on e4 to
Yep,
hit
but the rook on
the,
d1
you know,
comes.
the rook on d1 protects after taking
Yeah.
back.
Bungie was also saying something here about if I think he was looking at rook a6, dragon goes to d file, and then knight f5, some type of variation line like that. Could have had something
Yeah.
in it, but yeah,
Also, yeah, right now, can't you just take the pawn on b4 as well if you go to a6?
pawn on aha,
So that would be killing as well.
that's also hanging over there.
Yeah. Unfortunately, white's pawns are just too strong, really. Okay, that's
Yes.
again not a threat because you're
No
not
threat.
seriously going to threat.
So
But yeah, you can't so easily. You can still go to d4, dragon to d4.
the dragon d4,
Or you
you
could
can
just take
take
a
on
b4 as
b4.
well. There's another one.
Yep. So
Um,
Justin has double the time that Keegan has, so I mean, I think he should just secure everything.
Yeah.
Um,
But the one thing I know about Keegan is he's very fast if he wants to be.
yes.
I don't think that this rook e1 was necessary. I don't think it does anything. The rook was actually, for some of those tactics, nicely placed on d1. But okay, can't be too serious.
And what's happening here with Lance and Khadija? There's a queen takes h8 on the board. Rook e8, I guess.
No, this is no problem for black. I don't think so.
Do you want to move your rook back? I mean, it's already so nice on the.
No. I would just put the king to c7. Okay, then the rook's coming to e1, but you might get mated if you're not careful. Surely just king c7. Is there a problem with that?
I don't see any issue with that.
I think white's going to end up with the king in big trouble down here. I mean, he's going to have to solve that rook, so we'll have to do some rook e1.
Yeah.
But queen coming to f4 check. Don't know. Surely this is, you can already just start thinking about taking on h2, maybe. Or even taking on f3. Because even if white gets open files, how do you get to the king on c7? It's like completely safe, really.
Yeah, I don't know what white should do after king c7. You can always go back to d4, but
Okay, you can also go rook e8, I guess, is the other option. There's nothing wrong with rook e8 as well. But
just consolidating. But why take the rook off such a nice? I mean, rook e8 is like if you really
it just gains a move, I guess.
Yeah.
That's the alternative.
That's what I was playing. Queen d4, maybe just king b8. Rook e1. Oh, dragon bishop to b6, even better.
That's 100% fine.
So that dragon is going to enter at e3 at some point, even.
Yeah, it's very difficult to see white surviving this.
Yeah, this is terrible for white. Queen to b4 played. F3 is hanging in a lot of lines, if not immediately. F3 gets taken immediately. And Banji says, enter the dragon. Okay, so Lance goes rook HE1. Okay, he has some faint hope here. I mean, the black king is slightly airy over there. If the rook's
Yeah,
gone.
no, that's a slight. That's why I think I just preferred the king c7 because yeah, it's slightly. You might with some tactics get caught somewhere napping,
In
but
the
it still
meantime,
should be fine.
every time I look at Justin and Keegan, Keegan has moved the dragon bishop. And yeah, Keegan is just waiting for a slip up because there's nothing happening here. Justin is nicely centralized. Pawns are marching. Yeah, it's busted basically.
Yeah.
It seems like it's going to be a Khadija Justin final. But okay, the games are not done yet. Rook to e4. So does black want to get a passed pawn over here? Is that the intention? The rook takes e4. Can you allow the d file to open up like that? Or you're gonna play queen takes e4. Maybe just dominate.
So which game are we looking at? Oh,
Lance versus Khadija.
yeah, I think she'll play queen takes e4. I'm sure of that. Maybe not to try let the rook in the game.
Gravity Punch, welcome. Says go Khadija. And Khadija looks like she's in charge over here. She's
Yeah.
She's not too far away from securing a position in the finals. Lance squeezes in a check over there on f8.
Now this is a basic example. Like you can now go king d7, I think, and just allow a perpetual check because you don't care. If that's one option. And if you do anything else, then the dragon comes to e3 and mates you.
It's devastating.
But she'll probably go dragon d8 would be my guess. But I don't think it's necessary. In this, you can just give the perpetual.
Yeah, that is a beautiful mate. Imagine something like king d7 and the rook f1. King d7.
Okay, she does it. She does it. I'm impressed because this is the practical. Okay. And she doesn't go for the perpetual. But okay, everything wins, I guess.
Yeah.
Everything wins.
Okay, dragon to e3 check. But the king can still run to a1 now, right?
Yeah, but now the rook's going to fall on d1, for example.
Okay, yeah.
But if the king goes to a1, isn't there queen e4 check? Is there some sort of tactic with king b1, king a1, not dragon c2 check, king b1? You can't go dragon a3. You don't get that normal tactic.
Okay, it seems like white is just dropping the rook.
But it's good enough. Okay.
d2 played. I mean, that's a way to keep the game alive, but Lance is on 12 seconds, not much left for him to do. Keegan is still fighting there. We'll get to that one shortly. This one just seems to be heating up.
Yeah, an easy one. Yeah, might just be queen g5, I guess.
Yeah, and then the king can just run as well if he wants to.
The king will get out of it, checks quite quickly, and you do it. But like with 12 seconds, Lance is not going to solve this.
Yeah, this 12 seconds is your longest 12 seconds you have if you are waiting for your opponent here. Make a move. Especially if you still have hopes.
Yeah.
So
these are both finished. So we've got our finalists pretty much. We're going to know them in a few seconds, I would say.
Okay. And yeah, just to double check on Keegan and Justin. I mean, Keegan has been holding on here. All of a sudden, Keegan is just one pawn down.
But isn't the knight pinned and falling?
Oh.
On E6.
Wait a minute. Oh, okay. I even just missed that. So, okay, I get it.
Oh, man.
Okay, okay.
Um,
Seems like Keegan is tempting white one last time to take on C6 perhaps.
Yeah, no, but okay, this is all finished. Okay, and they resigned.
Okay, who
Well done,
resigned now?
Justin.
Am I missing something?
He resigned, I think.
Okay,
Just a piece and more.
both players resigned now, right?
Yeah,
Let's just double check. Aha, okay.
yeah, both resigned.
Okay, so that's that for both these games, second game. So let's see, Khadija goes through with a very nice display over there. Again, using the dragon bishop to full effect. And let's see, and then Justin also showing quite a nice dominant display, even though somewhere it seemed like he was giving Keegan some chances to get back into the game. But we have our finalists, guys. No tie breaks needed for that.